I heard about this clubhouse, and this has got to be part of the simulation. So I just thought, why not?
I'm on Clubhouse now, which is a new app that I have invites to, and none of you are getting invites. Clubhouse is an invite-only app. It's drop-in audio chat. And everybody on there, not everybody, but a lot of people on there are entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, investors, people that have come up with very successful apps. They're running the world. They're going to run the world. They're going to win. When they talk, they have this very cold-blooded, I should
say I just randomly downloaded Clubhouse a couple of days ago just to see what it was all about. So this is my first time literally using the app. But it
is the dystopian nightmare that you feared. They are preparing it for you as you sleep. Truly. They are. And not to sound too crazy about it, but when you hear these people talk and they're not emotional, it's very cold, it's calculated. They're just like, this is how it is now.
We don't have the full details. It's a little bit of an opaque formula, but there's a component called the VAR of it, which is value at risk. And that's based on kind of some fairly quantitative things, although it's not fully transparent. So there are ways to reverse engineer it, but it's not kind of publicly shared. And then there's a special component, which is discretionary. So that kind of acts as a multiplier.
And this is just listening on this app, which I spend 3 or 4 hours on a night because it's fucking fascinating. But I'm a roach in there. They look at me like a roach. I'm like a jester that they bring out, like, hey, make everyone laugh. And then we're going to talk about, the type of shackles that we get that's going to go right around the arm. Yeah, we got a good one. We're saving money on metal. So the chain, we're switching from metal. We're going to do an elastic chain. It's like a polymer. So you feel like you can go somewhere, but it snaps you back. So, and that's what they talk about. And then every now and then I come in and I make a joke and I'm like, well, what about a polymer chain? And they go, ha, ha, ha.
The GameStop rebellion has the machine shook. They're scared. The hedge funds are set to lose a lot of money, and people are starting to realize that this goes well beyond just buying stock in GameStop. Recently, Mark Cuban held an AMA, an Ask Me Anything session on Reddit, where he ultimately told the WallStreetBets Redditors, now 8.2 plus million, to hold the GameStop stock, even though the price has been tanking dramatically.
When it gets to this point where you've just got an open public revolt that's just essentially burning money to hurt Wall Street, okay, you've gone wrong. You've gone wrong. Something has been messed up.
Yes, lots of people are making money right now. Yes, 1 or 2 hedge funds are blowing up, but there's still always going to be a systemic disadvantage that retail has.
They're not trading with big broker dealers. They're trading on mobile apps like Robinhood, and they communicate and congregate on social media platforms in chat rooms. One of the biggest chat rooms is known as WallStreetBets. And a few months ago, some guys on there realized that there were some very big short sellers in GameStop, professional investors who were betting the stock price was going to go down. And so what happened? Normally, when the big boys take a position like that, everybody else gets out of the way.
I'm just going to guess right off the top of my head. I'm going to say that the institutions own 75% of that company, GameStop. So if that's the case, you basically have about 25 million for the little guy. So how much can they move that stock? That's an interesting thing.
Like after hours trading is not something a retail investor gets to do, and these hedge funds do get to do. And that's what was happening maybe 2 days ago. They were driving the price down because they have the ability to do that.
There could be 7,000 guys like yourself all buying it. And all it takes is a couple, 1 or 2 big institution guys to come in and short the shit out of it, or not even short it, just sell it, start getting rid of large positions. And that's how stocks go down. So that's the difference.
You see, those on WallStreetBets are saying this is called a short ladder attack. Essentially, the hedge funds are manipulating the stock, trading between each other to drive the price down so that it appears as though the stock is valueless, people panic, and then they sell.
You have the vast collection of small people looking up at the giant institution and saying, well, why them and not me?
I woke up this morning, it's like I was looking at my Nokia stock and the price is going down, and I'm like, I can't buy any. I wanted to buy the dip.
You got to remember, for every transaction, there's 2 sides to the transaction. For the guy that sells the short, the guy that's buying it says it's going up. So as long as that volume is available on the other side for people to buy these shares on dips, I think it's a war of attrition.
They won't let me. They're forcing the market to crash. It is so obvious what they're doing to rig the game now, and everyone's just watching them do it.
You're referencing like apps like Robinhood, which have just cut off trading to people.
Only buying, which means you can sell it to the fat cats,
but you can't.
So the price can go down, but you can't buy it back.
The actual scandal is the intervention to make that fight in the market no longer free.
And then when they start making any kind of motions, the giant institution moves to protect its interests, which means breaking the rules and acting arbitrarily, acting in a way that nobody really expected them to act, like Robinhood ceasing the buying of GME shares.
The company founded to democratize finance has decided, okay, that's enough democracy. Now we're iron fisting finance for all.
We did operational processes to make sure that customers that had positions could sell their open positions.
They allowed you to sell it.
But not
they
to buy
allowed you
it.
to sell it, but you couldn't buy any more of it. They wouldn't let you keep driving up the price. And now they're claiming that they were all doing this for some reason of compliance or something like that.
Robinhood is supposed to be steal from the rich, give to the poor. That's the story of Robinhood. Instead, they are protecting all these hedge fund people.
Robinhood, and I saw Portnoy, the guy who runs Barstool Sports, talking about this. What they're doing is criminal today, and it's just out in the open. This is the type of event that, like, all these, smaller companies, trade freely, are like built upon, right? Like some massive, craze happens. Like, oh wow, you were in on it. Oh man, you did it right from your phone. That's the whole dream of these apps, right? And when they just snuff something like that out, well, what's the fucking point? I saw a lot of pissed off people today too.
They could go ahead and change their name to Sheriff of Nottingham. Yes.
That was just done purely to protect Robinhood as a company. It wasn't even to protect Wall Street, because they had this vulnerability, because everything has limits, I suppose. But there's obviously, I think that there's probably shenanigans going on behind the scenes at this point, because I think they've realized, oh my God, this has cost Wall Street in total something like $70 billion. And that's massive, for a bunch of idiots on Reddit.
Scratch that. Actually, that news was a couple days old. Make it $19 billion. Loss is so massive that some major hedge funds were speculated to be facing bankruptcy, though the hedge funds deny that word.
Google salvaged Robinhood's one-star rating by deleting nearly 100,000 negative reviews. Unhappy users have been review bombing the app. That's a legit criticism.
People use the Robinhood app under the premise that they can move their money and make investments according to their own will and judgment. And Robinhood revoking that arrangement, revoking the central service of the app, is exactly why an app should get a poor review. It's deceptive to the consumer. It's manipulative to the market. It's not trolling. It's a breach of business ethics.
This was an internal operational and risk management decision that the firm made so that we could protect the firm and protect our customers.
They've got a massive class action against Robinhood by basically half their user base because they shut down the trading of certain stocks. The thing is, that's probably illegal. When Vlad went on TV, we had to do this to protect people. No, you don't. The right to be stupid is basically the whole gist of the stock market.
It's not the job of my banker to judge the wisdom of my spending. It's not the job of my brokerage to judge the wisdom of my investments. Such meddling would not only be morally wrong, but probably legally implicating too.
So you have demand that has been artificially decreased by brokerages that have decided, and that maybe wind up being illegal, to not allow you to purchase the stock. And in spite of that, this is holding over $200. The fact that it's holding over 200 is a real sign of solidarity between the people that just want to see the individuals that took this corrupt action burn.
Even Robinhood, they know their margin requirements. They know who they're extending credit to. They know exactly what they're doing. They're in it for money, and if they fuck up, there's consequences.
The fact that they call themselves Robinhood.
Oh, yeah.
Part of what's been really difficult is Robinhood stands for democratizing access to stocks, and we want to give people the access. So that's been very, very challenging. But we had no choice in this case. We had to conform to our regulatory capital requirements.
Folks, being on this app for 3 fucking days, it's coming tomorrow. It's not coming in 6 months or a year. It's here. You just don't know it yet. I'm telling you right now.
If you don't know what Robinhood does, and firstly, if you're a retail investor, it's better for you. The fact that you're not paying commissions and you want to buy a share of General Electric and maybe it's 1% of a penny higher, it doesn't matter to you. But what they're doing is they package together everyone's orders and they front run them through their the high speed trading or whatever.
The reason that's important is because the firm that you give your order flow to knows what your executions are, and they can run in front of it and front run and trade ahead of it and make profits, which may be fine or may not be fine. But I just thought that that's important to mention.
So you're
saying, Citadel.
Sorry, you're just about to say, and Citadel's the one who receives that advanced
Correct.
information from Robinhood.
Everyone's looking to buy General Electric, so they get ahead of it, they buy it and sell it to you. Overall versus the commit, everyone wins. It's an interesting capitalist thing here. But Robinhood is not there, like you said, to take money from the big players and give it to you. They're there as a tool of the institutional players that they can front run your orders.
So I'm the chief executive of Robinhood. It's actually a couple of companies. So there's an introducing broker dealer called Robinhood Financial, and that basically is the app that you know and love. Then there's a clearing broker dealer, Robinhood Securities, that clears and settles the trades.
So Robinhood, at least from what I'm hearing here, is doing some of their own clearing. So that means that if they're not able to allow you to buy, but they can allow you to sell, this would imply that they are not capitalized well enough. It's a liquidity problem that they don't have the money to put up the collateral to be able to purchase shares of GameStop when the requirements go from a few percent to 100%.
The reason we did it was because Robinhood is a brokerage firm. We have lots of financial requirements, including SEC net capital requirements and clearinghouse deposits. So that's money that we have to deposit at various clearinghouses. So some of these requirements fluctuate quite a bit based on volatility in the markets. And they can be substantial in the current environment where there's a lot of volatility and a lot of concentrated activity in these names that have been going viral on social media.
It's come out now that one of the reasons that Robinhood stopped trading on GameStop stock and others was because of their capital requirements. He was literally asked point blank by Andrew Ross Sorkin on the day that happened. They were like, do you have a liquidity problem? He said no.
All sorts of new questions about whether there's a systemic issue underneath the system and underneath the company unto itself.
No, there was no liquidity problem. And to be clear, this was done preemptively.
Since then, he's raised $3 billion. So I'm like, okay, it sounds like you had a huge liquidity problem.
So he said that the issue is that we would need to put up larger deposits, larger collateral as a result of them, the DTC increasing the collateral requirements. So you need more money. So you're going to disable the ability to buy because it needs more money, but you don't have a money problem. There's no liquidity problem. That right there is pretty much reason that the internet is exploding.
Okay, so if it's not cash, I guess we'll have to consider the other options, all of which are worse.
Luckily, we do know that Robinhood's CEO will be appearing later this month. Let's put this up there on the screen before the House Financial Services Committee on February 18th. He's got a lot of questions to answer. If they had just been honest about that, this entire story looks different. And we really need to find out why. I mean, he basically lied on national television for literally no apparent reason, or maybe there is a reason.
Was it actually that sort of cronyism? Did some hedge fund boss call up Robinhood and tell them to stop this peasant rebellion? Or was it a government crackdown? Did the SEC call up Robinhood and tell them to make that move? Is Robinhood just trying to play Big Brother and protect its users from themselves by stopping unwise investments? Or maybe it's just a money thing.